Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Christian Friends of Israeli Community. Maybe we should call this segment Christian Friends of Israeli Communities Meeting New Friends. Today, I have the privilege to introduce to you Mr. Yosef Ackerman. I'm sorry that I say Mr. He's a young guy, but still, I think he has a very important role. He's the manager, if you want, is the mayor of a small town in an area that we usually don't talk a lot about, in the northern part, really in the tip of the Dead Sea. And I want him to come today and share about his life, about his community, and to tell you more about it. So, hi, Yosef, how are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Okay, Yosef, Kedem Arava. I've never heard of this. Please tell us, what's this place?
I'll tell you. Thank you very much. No, I'll tell you, you're not the first one that never heard about Kedem Arava. It's a small community, but its history is actually very long and far. I'll give a little bit of historical background. In the late 30s of the 100 years ago, one of the first kibbutzim that was started in Israel before even the becoming of the state was called Kibbutz Bet Arava. Kibbutz Bet Arava sat on the Jordan River, where it connects to the Dead Sea, and they did agriculture, and they were growing vegetables, and they were growing fish. And in the middle of the 40s, 40% of any vegetable that came to Jerusalem came from Kibbutz Bet Arava. What happened was, and they were sitting there for 10 years. Part of them were working in the factories of the British that were taking minerals out of the Dead Sea, and part of them were working in agriculture. The reason why the Palmach and the Haganah decided to put the kibbutz there, it's because that was where the bridge to Jordan went by, and that was the main way for Jews coming from Arab states to Israel in the 40s. But when we're talking before the becoming of the state of Israel, 1948, Milchemet HaShichrur, the Battle of the Independence for Israel, very hard battles on Yerushalayim by the British that helped the Jordanians. After Kibbutz Kfar Etzion fell, Ben Gurion made a decision. He doesn't want any kibbutzim to be alone and can fall to Arabs' hands, and he decides to pull back.
Isolated. He didn't want any isolated.
Exactly. That's the right word.
Yeah.
And they pulled back the community, and basically this whole area that we know today as called Judea and Samaria fell into Arab hands. 1967, Six-Day War, big miracles, unbelievable war. Only perspective, we're fighting now, we're fighting over a year and 2 months already. 6 days, they took Judea and Samaria, all of Sinai, Ramat Golan, and they got 40 kilometers from Damascus. 6 days. So if you're talking about perspective, about miracles, that was unbelievable what happened.
Right.
Israel comes back to Judea and Samaria and needs to have a line of defense to try to stop the Fedayud. Terrorists that are coming from Jordan. You should remember Ashraf and the Palestinians are sitting in Jordan until the beginning of the 70s, and terrorists are coming in through the border and trying to hit cities in Israel. So one of the first Achzuyot Nachal, basically half military, half civilian, sits right here where we live today in Kedem Arava. In the beginning of the 90s, it becomes a kibbutz, what's called Kibbutz Bet Arava. And then when Oslo happened, Rabin, that did Oslo, that was a very bad plan. He had the understanding that if you want to hold the Route 90 that goes from north to south, better you need to put Kibbutz Bet Arava on the west to the road so it can block Jericho. If we can open soon a map, I'll try to show you how it looks, and we'll get better perspective why I did it.
Right. It's literally, it's there. It's near Jericho in the southern part. Yeah, that you start the climb from Jerusalem. If you go on the Route 90, you get to the peak of the Dead Sea. You start the climb. It's there on the corner, bordering maybe what you will call the Dead Sea and the Jordan Valley.
And connects Route 90 and Route 1.
Yeah.
South to north and east to west.
Okay.
2017, our Moatza, Amana, and other players decided they want a new yeshuv to be a new yeshuv, a settlement where Kibbutz Bet Arava sat earlier, and they decided to bring it in. 2017. We started very small. I got here 2019, and we grew beautifully. Today we're already 60 families. A year and a half ago, we even got recognition as a yeshuv, and we got fully supported the government. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we're now finishing up all whatever is required to build a permanent yeshuv and to build here up to 350, 400 families. We hope in the 5 to 10 next years to build a big yeshuv.
So I want to stop you, Yosef, because you're missing one important fact. You know the history, but I know something, and you know it. What happens when June starts? What happens in July and August and September? How can you live in this? Is it the hottest place in Israel? Probably.
Yes. So I'll tell you something about it. Before we came to Kedem Arava, we lived in a yeshuv that's called Psagot. Psagot is in Binyamin. It's about 850 meters above the level of the sea. That means
it's nice even in the summer. Very windy.
Beautiful. Summer evening, you sit outside and you need like a jacket. It's a little cold.
Wow.
And when we came for the first time to Kedem Arava, we had friends that lived there and they told us, come, listen, it's a big project. It's a Zionist project. We need people. We need strong people. Come and see it. And we came in the middle of the winter and it was like the rainiest, craziest day in Psagot. It was half snowing. And you go down because basically you're from north of Jerusalem over 850 and you come to Kedem Arava, that's 350 meters under the level of the sea. And you're going down and down and down and down. And when we get here, it's sunny, it's beautiful, it's a winter day. You go out of the car, you don't need coats, you can walk shortly.
So basically you said you were fooled by the winter and in the 100%. Summer arrived, you said, what happens here?
And my wife loved it. But then summer comes in right after like June, July. Basically, it becomes like hell. It's like over 40 degrees, like basically days. Right. You cannot live. You can see air conditioning right behind me. You cannot live in Kedem Arava without air conditioning.
Of course.
And we have a shortage of electricity sometimes. Because we're not a fully developed community yet, we still have problems of beginning. And it's an issue, but people here are very strong. Everybody has like a small pool, not like a real pool, like an intake small pool. And that's what basically people do all day in the summer. You come up from work, you put on whatever shorts, you go outside, and you go into the pool, you drink a cold beer. There's nothing else you can really do in the summer. There's no other option. And it's crazy because I work once a week. I go to Eli. And Eli's like near Psagot. It's cold and it's high. And sometimes I leave my house. I don't even take a jacket because I go out of the house. It's a nice day, It's nice and sunny. If I would take a camera outside now, you would see it's a nice sunny day. And then I get to Eli and it's crazy. I'm like, what's going on? It's winter. So Kedem Arava is a very hot place at summer, and it has its advantages because the winter is beautiful. The winter is really beautiful.
So nice.
But the summer is hard. But it's part of the job. It's part of what we do.
I assume, or maybe I'm assuming wrong. Bet Arava, originally kibbutz, agriculture, worked hard in agriculture on the fields. What are people doing in Kedem Arava now? People are in agriculture. People are farmers.
It's a good question. We have a few people in agriculture, but not a lot. We are a yeshuv keilati, a community, and most people work in what's called free jobs, avodot chofshiyot. Means we have at least 3-4 lawyers, 5 people in high tech. We have people in computers. We have people working. We have like 2 or 3 people in the army or in the police working. We have teachers. We have in any field you can think about. Most of the people do not work from home. Go into Shalim. Shalim's around. If there's traffic, 35 to 40 minutes. There's no traffic, it can be 25 to 30
40 minutes, you're in downtown Jerusalem.
Downtown, northern Jerusalem.
So you're telling me that's 45 minutes, really downtown Jerusalem, an hour?
If you do, yeah.
Okay.
Approximately that's an hour, so that's normal. And thanks to Corona, so most people I know work today at least 1 or 2 days from their house.
Right.
So that became much more easy. Like I'm a law counsel and I work for a few organizations and for a few companies. So once a day I go to Netanya. Now Netanya is very far from my house. It's an over 2-hour drive. But I go once a week. Once a week. Yeah. So if I go once a week, it's not that bad. So I can work from my house and I go once a week.
It's like fine. 2.5 hours.
It's 2 hours, let's say 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on traffic. So I mean, we're very flexible. So most of the people are like that. They work from the yeshuv 1 or 2 days a week, and they go out. I have to say, the past year is crazy. Like whatever I'm talking about, like the shuv and working, it's all what happened before October 7th. After October 7th, basically everything changed. I already did over 200 days of miluim, of reserve. Past year, I just came down last night, from Metula, from the Kfar Kilin, northern to the Israeli border.
You came from Lebanon this morning, yesterday?
Last night, yeah.
Wow.
I got him last night.
Wow.
I'm part of the 55 Brigade, paratroopers and reserves. Basically, we did 4 months of miluim, beginning of the war. We were in Gaza. We were in Khan Yunis. I lost a good friend of mine, Ner Yashar, Zichrono Livracha, was killed in fire in action.
Who?
Called Ner Yashar. Was killed in action, right next to me, a good friend, a very nice guy. And we were 4 months in miluim. Then I got home for a few months, back to work, back to the yeshuv, running stuff again. And then again, right after Sukkot, I'm back into miluim for another 2 months. I'm going to finish at the end of December, basically.
So I wanna take a moment here, and we talk a lot about the story of the heroes, the soldiers that go and fight for 100, 200, 300 days, and it's not normal. So I want to ask this. Maybe try to describe to the people. You live in a small community. You said 40, 50 families?
60.
60 families. If I need to bet, I would say that in the beginning of the war, 70, 80% of the families, the husband was away. Am I right?
So it's even worse. My wife says what happened was on Simchas Torah last year, 7th of October, we all jumped.
Yeah.
We all jumped. And at the evening, like right after Chag came out, after Shabbat came out, there was basically 6 guys in the yeshuv left. 6 guys.
10%, so 90% left.
And all the 6 guys that were here did reserves in the yeshuv, doing. So basically, at the beginning of the war, 100% of the yeshuv, or 95% of the yeshuv, were doing miluim.
Wow.
And that's the kind of people that live here. Actually,
I want to talk about this. How is it when you're isolated in the end of the day? You're far from your families. You live there, your wife, your kids, all the families. How did they manage? They stayed there. They were afraid. They said, let's go to our parents. What was the reaction when, as you said, 90% of the guys are gone? There's 6 guys who keep the community and guards it. Like, it's crazy.
So I'll say that's a part of that's what's very good about living in the community. If you live in a big city, you're not part of majority of people are not part of a community. Kedem Arava and small communities are very strong. Like our neighbors are like family for us. And when I'm not here, so like the last few weeks, like people came and cooked for my wife. I do all the cooking at home. So and I did also all the cooking in the army. So basically I'm doing cooking. That's part of what I do.
That's your thing.
Yeah, it's my thing. And I'm also a sergeant, but I do a lot of different stuff. So
okay.
So people are very helping each other with the kids, with babysitter, with cleaning houses, with just being there, coming to drink a coffee with a neighbor, to feel strong, and going to the parents sometimes, it helps. Parents came here. We're a very young community. The majority of people here are under 40. I mean, we have probably the majority of people are somewhere between 45 to 30. That's the majority of the people. So most people are working with young children in schools. They can't just go wherever. Your school is here. You need to stay home. And the real heroes, I'm not joking. The real heroes we are not the real heroes. The real heroes are our wives.
All right.
If my wife is alone with 4 children,
wow.
and she needs to send them to school, and she needs to get them back and to leave them, keep them normal, and not terrified because their father is in battle, she's the real hero, not we are. We're doing our duty. It's not. We do what you have to do. If you're in war, you need to go to war. No one asked us. I mean, most of us, we're not volunteers. We do our job. Like, you don't have to go in, and the majority of the population in Israel are not combat soldiers, even though in Kedem Arava, probably the percentage of combat soldiers is probably over 50, 60%. That's not majority. But this is what we believe in. This is what we like. If we want Israel to be strong and safe, this is what we need to do. We don't really have all different options.
Yosef, you talk like a real a brave person, and the truth is, we know your type of people, really the most ideological driven people that come and want to settle the land, and they go through those challenges and they live where they live, and they decide that the being a pioneer is not over yet. What the pioneers did in the beginning of like the 19th century and what you are doing now in Kedem Arava, there's like a connected line. So I want to ask this. People are hearing you, we hear you, and we're thinking to ourselves, we need to bless those people. We need to help those people, and we need to be part of this story. So I'm asking like generally, and if you want to go into the specific, what are the challenges, not on your private family, on the community? How Kedem Arava needs help and support and blessing?
So I'll say a few stuff. We talked already about electricity. We talked about, so basically when you start a new community or a new settlement, you don't get all the support from the government you get when you get all the license, basically. We're not there yet. We're working on there. We got a lot of them, but we're not there yet. That means a lot of the stuff are not, the structures are not strong enough. That means we have shortages of water sometimes or electricity. But that's a small problem, and we take care of it ourselves. We don't need really help. But after the 7th of October last year, basically it changed the whole way we think about security. Because basically what happened was in Gaza, and maybe we should open a map to look at where we live in Kedem Arava, because that would give us a good...
Okay, open the map. I'm sharing it with you. Now you're on the photo, so go to the map.
So basically, I'm showing you a map of Israel. Okay, this is Israel. We all know it. Judea and Samaria. And now we're going to go in up a little bit to zoom, and I'll try to explain to you why Kedem Arava has a unique problem with security. Basically, what you see in this picture now, this where I'm showing you with my scroll, this is called this is Jericho. Jericho is a big city, a Palestinian city.
Jericho.
Jericho, yes.
Joshua, the walls of Jericho, the ancient city, of course.
Exactly right. And the other side is already Jordan. This is the Jordan Valley, and this is the Jordan River. Kedem Arava is a very small community. You can see right here. And here we are. This is where we are. Basically, the full community is supposed to be a little bit to the south, and we're going to build this whole area. Around 400 families. That's going to be built. Now, why is it? What's unique about Kedem Arava, and this is a very you need to understand. We are threatened from two sides. We are threatened on one side from Jericho, and we are threatened on the other side from Jordan. Now, that means if you want to put in security cameras, if you want to put in fence, it's not enough to be strong on one side of the issue. You need to be strong on two sides of the issue. That's also very expensive. It's also very hard, and we're working very hard to try to build up our security. I have to say, before October 7th, that wasn't our main focus. We were focused about bringing in families. We were focused about building. We were focused about prosperity. We were focused about trying to bring in buses of tourists to show our place. And perspective a little changed after October 7th. We understood.
You're not far from Qasr Al Yaoud. It's a very it's an area people want to come and visit.
100%. It's 2 kilometers up north to here.
Our groups, they come to Qasr Al Yaoud. They love this place.
So they should come visit me.
Now, we will make it happen.
We would love to have them over for a coffee.
For sure.
I advise to come in the winter, not in the summer. That's my advice.
So you said the 7th of October, you change and you shift. We're not in a process of bringing more people right now. We need to make sure that what we have here is going to be secured and safe and well preserved.
So now we do duty guard. Like when I'm not in Miluim, we do a duty guard every night.
Of course.
It's a little back, like going back. I'm not joking, to the 40s. And we need to rely more on ourselves. I mean, IDF's whole structure of security for these small communities is built on the people that live in the yeshuvim, in the communities itself. So that means we have kitot konenut, we have our own, we get weapons from the army, we get whatever we need to protect ourselves. From the understanding that if anything happens, we will be the first ones that can give answer the problem. So that's about that's a lot of our problems are there. So that's if we need help that's in those areas. Fences, cameras, radios to speak with each other, vests, whatever. That's
you're really
focus.
starting. The truth is, you're really starting. You have nothing yet. You're like in the beginning of the process of handling the situation, and we need to share that. Like a couple of weeks ago, when we start this connection between us, and we said immediately, like, how can we help? And I think CFOIC just like sponsored a couple of like pizza boxes and some treats to the kids, just to show, we know our people and we know how much they want to bless you. So just here, this is something small from CFOIC for the brave families of Kedem Arava, the wives and the kids without their husbands, and that's like a beginning. And we already like posted a beautiful photo. You see the joy.
One of them is my children.
Oh, there you go.
So even
Yosef, it was such a fascinating conversation. I wanted to talk about what you do in life, and I think we need to split the two videos. I don't like to go more than 20 minutes. And Kedem Arava was fascinating enough to talk about it for 22 minutes. So we will stop now, and we will make a schedule time for another meeting when we're going to hear about your fascinating work. Because in the end of the day, after everything you do for Kedem Arava and in the army, there's much more what you do in your civil work. And I think it's something that our people would love to hear. So for now, Yosef, let's say this is a beginning of a great relationship between Kedem Arava and CFOIC. And we will bring groups to you. Not to worry. And you said coffee. We want coffee. We want coffee.
So you're welcome.
Thank you.
And it's not American filter coffee. It's good coffee.
There you go. I like this guy already. We will be in touch, and thank you for everything you do, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.